Welcome back to the Forensic Psychology Essentials series. I'm the Behavioral Archive, and today we're exploring one of the most powerful tools in criminal profiling, geographic analysis. Geographic profiling is an investigative technique that analyzes the locations of connected crimes to determine the most probable area where an offender lives or works. It's based on a simple principle. Criminals don't travel far from home. They operate within a comfort zone, an area they know well and feel safe in. Geographic profiling was pioneered in the 1980s by Canadian criminologist Kim Rossmo. He developed mathematical algorithms that could predict an offender's anchor point, their home or workplace based on crime scene locations. The FBI adopted these techniques in the 1990s, and they've been solving cases ever since. So how does it actually work? Every serial killer has a comfort zone, a geographic area where they feel safe to hunt, and profilers can use it to predict where they live. Geographic profiling relies on three key principles. Principle number 1, distance decay. This means offenders are less likely to commit crimes the farther they get from their anchor point. Why? Because traveling long distances increases risk. More time on the road means more chances to be seen, remembered, or caught. Most serial offenders commit crimes within a 5 to 10 mile radius of where they live. Principle number 2, the buffer zone. Interestingly, offenders typically avoid committing crimes too close to home. There's usually a buffer zone, an area immediately surrounding their residence where they won't strike. Why? Because they don't want to be recognized. All increase the risk of identification. So they travel just far enough to feel anonymous, but not so far that they're uncomfortable. Principle number 3, mental maps. Offenders operate within areas they know well, their mental map of the city. This includes routes they drive regularly, their commute to work, favorite stores, gyms, or places they visit frequently. They choose victims and crime scenes along these familiar paths because they know the escape routes, the traffic patterns, and where they can blend in. Geographic profiling identifies these patterns. Now let's see how profilers actually apply this. Step 1. Map all connected crime scenes. Profilers plot every location where the offender struck: murder sites, abduction points, body dump locations. Each pin represents a data point. The more crimes, the more accurate the profile becomes. Even 2 or 3 crimes can reveal patterns, but 5 or more significantly increases accuracy. Step 2. Identify the geographic pattern. Do the crimes form a cluster, a line, a circle? Clustered crime suggests the offender lives in the center of that cluster. Linear patterns suggest crimes along a commute route home to work, for example. Circular patterns indicate the offender is hunting around the perimeter of their comfort zone. Step 3. Calculate the most probable anchor point. Using mathematical algorithms, profilers generate a probability map, a heat map showing where the offender most likely lives. The brightest area represents the highest probability. This becomes the focus of the investigation. Police concentrate resources here, canvass neighborhoods, review surveillance footage, check registered offenders. Step 4. Refine the profile with additional data. Profilers layer in other factors: highway access, public transportation routes, geographic barriers like rivers or parks. They also consider demographics. If victims are from a specific neighborhood, the offender likely lives nearby or has reason to be there. Time of day matters too. Crimes committed during commute hours suggest the offender travels that route regularly. Let's look at a real case where this technique worked. The Yorkshire Ripper. Peter Sutcliffe terrorized northern England from 1975 to 1980. He murdered 13 women and attacked 7 others across multiple cities. For 5 years, he evaded one of the largest manhunts in British history. Geographic profiling revealed why. When profilers mapped Sutcliffe's crimes, they noticed something critical. The attacks formed two distinct clusters, one in Bradford, one in Leeds. A linear pattern connected them, suggesting a commute route. Geographic profiling predicted the offender lived between these two cities, likely in Bradford, and traveled to Leeds regularly. And they were right. Peter Sutcliffe lived in Bradford and worked as a truck driver. His job required him to drive between cities constantly. His mental map covered the entire region, and he used these familiar routes to hunt. Sutcliffe was ultimately caught in 1981 during a routine traffic stop in Sheffield, right in the middle of his predicted geographic zone. Geographic profiling had already narrowed the search to Bradford, focusing investigative resources on that exact area where he was eventually found. Here's another example. The Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway, murdered at least 49 women in Washington state during the 1980s and 90s. For 2 decades, he was one of America's most prolific uncaught serial killers. Geographic profiling played a key role in eventually identifying him. Ridgway dumped most of his victims' bodies along the Green River and near Highway 99, a route he drove regularly. Geographic profiling revealed he likely lived near this corridor and used it as part of his routine. Profilers predicted he worked a blue-collar job that required driving, giving him familiarity with remote dump sites. They were correct. Ridgway was a truck painter who lived near Highway 99 and drove the route daily for work. His anchor point was right in the center of the predicted zone. Ridgway was arrested in 2001 after DNA evidence linked him to victims. But geographic profiling had identified him as a suspect years earlier, placing him in the highest probability zone. But geographic profiling isn't perfect. Limitation number 1. It requires multiple connected crimes. 1 or 2 crimes don't provide enough data to establish a pattern. Profilers need at least 3 to 5 crimes, ideally more, to generate an accurate probability map. Limitation number 2. It assumes rational, organized behavior. Geographic profiling works best with organized offenders who plan their crimes and operate within a comfort zone. Disorganized offenders, those who act impulsively, don't follow predictable patterns, making geographic analysis less effective. Limitation number 3. It struggles with highly mobile offenders. Some killers travel hundreds of miles, selecting victims in different states. Long-haul truckers, for example, have enormous mental maps and no fixed hunting ground, making geographic profiling nearly impossible. Despite these limitations, geographic profiling is incredibly valuable. It focuses investigative resources. Instead of searching an entire city or region, police can concentrate on a specific neighborhood. This means more efficient canvassing, targeted surveillance, and faster identification of suspects. In cases with hundreds of potential suspects, geographic profiling can narrow the list to dozens, or even a handful. It can also predict where future crimes might occur. If an offender is still active, profilers can identify high-risk zones and increase police presence there. This proactive approach has prevented murders and led to arrests before additional victims are claimed. So let's recap. Geographic profiling analyzes crime locations to predict where an offender lives or works. It's based on 3 principles: distance, decay, buffer zones, and mental maps. The process involves mapping crimes, identifying patterns, calculating anchor points, and refining with additional data. It's helped solve major cases like the Yorkshire Ripper and the Green River Killer. While it has limitations, it remains one of the most powerful tools in criminal profiling. Want to dive deeper into criminal profiling techniques? Check out the Serial Killer Profiler's Toolkit Tower, comprehensive guide covering geographic profiling, behavioral analysis, victimology, and more. Link in the description. Thanks for watching the Behavioral Archive. If you enjoyed this video, Subscribe for more forensic psychology content. Next up, organized versus disorganized offenders. See you in the next one. If you're anything like me and forensic psychology is your true passion, please take a minute and go check out the interactive learning platform that I had created for you. It's an immersive experience where you get to work on actual cases and feel like you are a member of the profiling team. It's been a pleasure having you here as always, and until next time, stay safe out there.